David, what have we got? Less than about a month to go?
A month to go. I think
go.
about 28 days, to be exact.
How you feeling?
I'm in the trough of disillusionment a little bit right now. In terms of what did I sign up for, and I feel like this event has become like the zeitgeist, and like the eyes of the world are on this conference. I mean, we like every day the intensity and craziness is ratcheting up dramatically. Like Monday, Logan Paul's people reach out to us. Wednesday, Floyd Mayweather's people reach out to us. Like, Thursday, I mean, every day, like the craziness ratchets up. And I think that when this event actually happens, it's going to be the number one attention-sucking thing in the world. Eventbrite told us like we're the top 3 largest in-person event right now on their platform. I think we're the largest in-person event in the country for the month of June. So yeah, it's wild.
Are you feeling under a lot of pressure?
No. Mostly just under pressure to make sure we create a good product. Like it's the unknown unknowns. We got this huge crowd coming, and like, you got to manage the flow of a lot of people. It's a hard thing to do. So like when you have 12,000 people coming to a venue, there's no one room that can fit 12,000 people. So you got to make sure that like, okay, you got enough interesting stuff happening, enough different places that the bodies kind of are, spread throughout the venue, et cetera. So I got a couple things like that I'm worried about and we're spending a lot of time on. But otherwise, it's kind of like no fucks are given anymore. And that's kind of freed us to just do exactly what we want to do. Like we're building kind of like David's, Willy Wonka's, Bitcoin factory. And it's just like, you get what we're building it. You come, it's going to be fun. If you have complaints, send them to our complaint department.
Go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
How many came in 19? What was that, like 3,000?
2,000, 2,200.
2,000. So you've gone 6x on that.
Yeah, and the craziness is like if we didn't have a maximum capacity, we had to like double ticket prices like overnight because we were selling so many tickets that we were pacing for, selling, like if we like charted it against historical data, 35,000 to 50,000 people. So like, this event really took off, and I honestly like the vision that we have for this event. I think this can be grown into a 1 million person event. Like I want to. People are like, oh, we can make the CES. It's like, no, fuck CES. We want to be Mecca, and this is like the pilgrimage around the world, and like let's do something crazy and weird. That's a fusion between the new Davos and the new Burning Man and the new South by and the new Money 2020 all fused into one. And, yeah, I mean, I think we can make something weird that showcases Bitcoin culture, counterculture in a way that nothing else can.
I've already claimed Bedford as the Bitcoin Mecca. You can't have it.
See that. This is where all good religious disputes come from, though. So, there's Bedford versus the Bitcoin conference, and it's going to be one of those things that is going to get ugly in time.
You can host it in Bedford. We could have it at the Corn Exchange, but I only think that has about 800 people, maybe in the park. Dude, listen, you've crushed it. I'm obviously party to a lot of what's going on in the background because you've invited me to MC again, and I think you guys, especially like in this COVID era where everyone's worried and you've just gone balls out and you've done it. I think fair play to you. I think the guest list is pretty incredible, so well done on that. What do Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather want?
Well, so before I answer, and I don't want to leak any of those specifics, but in terms of the pandemic, we do not care at all about the pandemic. I mean, the founding fathers, when they were organizing a revolution and yellow fever was abound, they didn't say, okay, pack it up, boys. Like, there's yellow fever. We might get sick. It's like, no, this is a fucking revolution. Like, people die, all right? A lot less people are going to die when Bitcoin takes over the monetary system than the existing, world that we're having to live in. So fuck the pandemic. Pandemics don't stop revolutions.
So we don't have to wear masks?
You don't have to wear masks. No. We'll have them. They're really more to keep people from accidentally doxing themselves. But yeah, you don't have to.
You seem pretty fired up, dude. I've not seen you like that. I remember 19, and 19 was brilliant. So I was so gutted 20 didn't happen because of it, but 19 was brilliant. It's the premier Bitcoin event, and it's not cringy or cheesy, and it's good people, good conversations, good parties, good dinners. Everything about it was quality. But you were very chilled back then. You seem pretty fired up, dude.
We're unleashed, and I mean, we've just realized, like, what's the point of fuck you money if you're not going to say fuck you, So,
Hey, dude, did you see my tweet earlier?
No.
I had to send some. Oh, dude, I had to send some Bitcoin to somebody earlier, and I had my ledger with me. And when you approve it, the address splits over multiple screens because they have character limits. And on the last screen, there was only 2 letters, and it was FU.
Nice. That's a sign. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, once we stopped trying to make money at this company and we almost went bankrupt. I mean, 2018 was a really vicious year for us. It was like, we've lost all this money, and it's like, okay, what's the point of all of this? Like, what makes all of this worth it? And really, I got into Bitcoin for one reason. It's the movement behind Bitcoin. It's the ideas behind Bitcoin. It's Hyperbitcoinisation. That's why we're here. And so it's like, that's the mission. And if we lose all of our money doing it, it was worth it. And so ever since we've taken on that mindset, our decision-making kind of frameworks have been so much more straightforward. And so, doing a Bitcoin-only conference was straightforward. And then doubling down on all the things that make Bitcoin cool is straightforward. And it's like, Bitcoin didn't need any investment bank. It didn't need any politician. It didn't need anyone to make it what it is. It did it despite all those things. And so it's like, we don't need to change who we are to impress the world. The world needs to understand, what we're all about. And so, we've just leaned into it, and we're having fun.
You're definitely fired up though, dude. Like, how do you take in this last year especially? Like, we all expected a bull run because Bitcoin has bull runs, right? Every 4 years we expect it now. It's come as given. It certainly hasn't played out how I thought it would. I didn't see it becoming a year of the institutions. I still thought it would be mainly retail driven, some institutions. It suddenly feels like it's like this hyper-Bitcoinization thing that I know you've been talking about again. When I first got into Bitcoin, I heard about that. I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. Like, I get what you're saying. I think I read it on Pierre Rochard's article about it. Maybe it's Pierre on the Nakamoto Institute. And I was like, look, I get it. It's a theory, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to happen. Like, now you can see it happening. I was having a conversation yesterday. It's, that conversation, does Bitcoin go to 0 to 1 million? It goes to 1 million way easier than 0 now. Like, it feels like it's happening. How do you take it all in?
The difference between 1 million and 100,000 is the difference between 100,000 and 10,000. It's nothing. There are 2 outcomes. It goes to 0 or it goes to 1/21 millionth of all the things. That's the price of a Bitcoin. I mean, it's just, and we are somewhere in this, quantum state in between those 2 possible outcomes. And as time goes on, we trend towards one or the other. I'm of the view that as time goes on and confidence in Bitcoin grows and adoption and infrastructure grows and usability grows and functionality grows, that, we trend towards infinity. And, Bitcoin is a black hole. I mean, it's just a black hole, and it's sucking everything into it. And, I read an article yesterday about how banks are rolling out these cryptocurrency and Bitcoin products because they're looking at the data of how many deposits are flowing over to the Bitcoin exchanges. And they're just, the data speaks for itself. They have to do it. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Like, that's hyper-Bitcoinization. It's going to suck everyone in. And so, the world's just, I mean, this is, in my mind, this has already happened. It's just the world is like, it takes time for it to dawn on people that it's happened. I mean, we're sitting at a $1 trillion asset class. $1 trillion. We've gone through 3 80% crashes and recoveries, and we're here. And like, we're sitting at $1 trillion asset class for, what we've been at. It's not like we're just spiking up. We've been sitting here for a couple months. And you're hearing the biggest Fortune 500 companies are putting slugs of money into this thing. Like, this is so far beyond where we were 5 years. I don't know. If you just have some perspective on it, it really it's such a straightforward thing to look at a boulder rolling down a hill or water flowing down a mountain and be like, yeah, it's going to keep flowing down that mountain to the bottom of it. I just feel like that's where we're at. We're watching the momentum of Bitcoin just accelerate, and then people watch the day-to-day price and like, oh, is it over? And it's like, it's not even worth having those conversations anymore.
It gets a lot easier when you aren't dictated by the price as well. It's funny, like 2017, look, when the price goes up, obviously holler and celebrate, and it's awesome, it's cool. But
hey, by
also
the way,
at the
did you
same
get your
time,
car?
Which one?
I think I remember saying before I quit Twitter that you're wanting to get a like an Aston Martin or something.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
get
I
it?
did.
Nice.
I did, and then I crushed it.
You did. Dope. Dude, that's very
No, only
Bitcoin.
small. No, just into the garage. I was
Dope.
just being a dick, and I pulled it out, and I like snapped the carbon fiber on the bonnet. But yeah, I got it. I treated myself like fucking.
Nice.
I've worked this last 4 years, so yeah.
So we were
triggered a
talking
few
about
people.
doing like a we were talking to a sponsor, I think sportsbet.io maybe, or do they work
they're
with
one
you?
of mine. Yeah, doing the
They
Lambo
wanted-
giveaway.
They wanted to do they're doing a Lambo giveaway at the conference, and my idea was like, let's find the car that Peter McCormick likes the most, the one that he wants to buy. Let's give that away, and let's have Peter McCormick announce the winner of it. That would be the ultimate trolls. Like, let's make Peter give away his dream car.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, but I want to. But I said to them, said, I'll only do it if you get me one as well.
Good negotiator. Good negotiator.
Yeah, well, they agreed to it. But the problem is I haven't got the garage space for it. Let's talk a bit more about the event, then we'll cover the Hyperbitcoinisation. Okay, a few things to ask. One of the interesting things about this event is that it's had quite a lot of. It's good that you're not on Twitter, so maybe you're not aware, but there has been criticism of speakers, specifically Chamath has been criticized. I don't know how much you can talk about it, but like, if you don't
I can talk about all of it.
rumors happens. Right.
Let's talk about all of it. Let's dig into it.
Right. So with Chamath, right, I talked about, I had Surfer Jim recorded with him. That's going to be out on Monday. But I talked to him about it. And my view on Chamath is that he's been a bit of a dick a couple of times to people. And I, knowing he was on stage, and
Someone
I reached
was a
out to
dick
Brandon.
in the Bitcoin space? Oh, no.
But I reached out to Brandon. And I was like, look, can you just put me in touch with him? Because I want to speak to him. I was going to invite him on the show and just give him the opportunity to like deal with that and apologize. Because I felt like he could if he wanted to. And then he did the whole BitClout thing, which is just like, ugh. But, and then he's now not on the radar. Like, I know he wanted to present remotely. Is that why it's not happening?
Yes. So let's break some news here, because like I quit Twitter in a protest. I'm dying to come back. Every day I want to come back and just rain on someone, but then it's like I can't let responding to something be the reason I come back to Twitter. If I'm going to come back, I got to do it on my terms.
Why did you quit in protest? What was your protest first?
I thought it was total horseshit when Trump was kicked off of Twitter. And I hate Republicans. I hate Democrats. I hate the government. I'm a diehard, hardcore libertarian. But dude, I have a special place in my heart for any person who is a disruptor that infuriates the mainstream. And so I think Trump is hilarious. Anytime you're pissing off the aristocracy, you're doing something right. So so anyway, I thought it was total horseshit that going down. And it's just like, look, I'm just I'm not going to make money for Twitter off my tweets. Fuck them. People want to find me, follow me, read Bitcoin Magazine. So I'm off Twitter. It's giving me a lot of my day back, which is kind of nice. But all right, what was your question? Chamath.
So let's talk about Chamath. I think people think he got kicked off or he quit because he was scared of the reaction. But I know from Brandon that he wanted to present remotely, which is, look, it's fine if you're with Snowden, but that's about it.
Yeah, so, and I was a little bit upset with my team about how this information was presented because they didn't really add context to it. And, we have a couple
It
of
looked
speakers
almost like a celebration.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. There was no tone to our tweet at all. Then people interpreted it how they wanted to, and I felt like we should have come back out and been like, "Hey, let's clarify this." But we're gonna break some news here, I guess. So there are a handful of speakers that confirmed to speak at Bitcoin 2020 when we were doing it in LA, and they were speaking in person. But it was like the pandemic's going on. They're like, "Hey, I'm down to do this, but we have to like approach it when we get closer to the date to make sure that like they're not going to have any issues with the pandemic, yada yada." Then we moved the event to Miami, the other side of the country, which makes it much more logistically challenging, especially for people who have really busy schedules. So there are 3 speakers that we have that all confirmed to come in digitally: Kathy Wood, Anthony Scaramucci, and Chamath. I made the decision that unless you have a legitimate threat to your life or you're a fugitive from the law, those are the only 2 scenarios I'm comfortable with someone joining us virtually. So I told Brandon to email all 3 of them, tell them they either have to come in person or they can speak next year. But like that's the end of it. And I think Scaramucci is coming in person now, and I think Chamath is out, and Kathy Wood is trying to make a decision.
Okay. Fine.
So that's the reality. That's what happened. I think Chamath is a total badass. I completely disagree with his political views. But I don't frankly care what his political views are. I do think what went down with Surfer Jim was cringe. It was a bad joke from Chamath. I think Surfer Jim, I was on a podcast with him. Nice guy, very articulate. Yeah. I was impressed. So,
Yeah, me too.
We invited Surfer Jim to speak at the conference too. He said he'd only do it if Chamath was uninvited. Okay. We did not uninvite Chamath so that Surfer Jim would speak. Like, I do not, kowtow to the mob. So we hope Chamath speaks next year. Chamath, no hard feelings. I'm sorry you've been canceled by the Bitcoin scene, but keep holding those Bitcoins. Don't sell.
Yeah. Okay, a few things there. Have you given the slot to Surfer Jim?
Well, so Surfer Jim, I'm giving some inside baseball here. I think Surfer Jim said in his last message to us, like, "Hey, give me a keynote and I'll do it." And it's like, no, we're not doing that. So, it's a bold move. Kudos to Surfer Jim. But we'd love for him to join a discussion on maximalism, but that invite's still sitting out there.
Man, I think personally, giving him a keynote, giving a pleb a keynote would be fucking awesome. That would be a boss move. I think you only win. Personally, I think you only win.
Well,
that's my view.
I would do it if the idea was our idea and we came up with it. But when it's reacting to everyone being like, give a pleb a keynote, it's like, dude, we're not going to be bossed around about how to make, this is our party. Our party, our rules. Mm-hmm. All right. If you want to come to the biggest fucking gathering of Bitcoiners in the history of humanity, come to our event. If that doesn't sound good to you and you want to tell us how we need to change our event, well, then fuck you. I don't really care. Don't come to the conference. Boom. There we go. So it's like...
Fair enough, man. Your hard work, your event. I still think it'd be badass, though. And I also agree. I like Chamath, right? The last few months, he's been doing some things that I don't agree with and I don't care about.
Cringe, yeah.
And same on the politics side a little bit with you. Like, I went into the politics, I dove right in, especially the election stuff. I was, fuck Trump, he's an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And then I came out the other end and I just realized I hate it all. And also seeing what the Biden administration is doing is just more bullshit. So I'm kind of with you on that. And I don't care about the politics. But I want to get Chamath on the show. I've never spoken to him, not even had any interaction. But I think it would be good for people to hear from him, because I think if they actually hear from him talking about Bitcoin, they might realize, like, he is a badass. He is a Bitcoiner. I think the bit clout thing, though, that, I don't know, man, that thing tastes bad. It smells weird. Bad. It's fucking gross, man.
I always hate that when someone does such a good job of articulating the Bitcoin value proposition for so long, and then you're like, wow, this person really gets it. And then out of nowhere, they're just like, but have you heard about Dogecoin? It's like, wow, disappointing me.
He's not the only one to get some criticism. I think anyone who's on the list who's got like some association with shitcoins at all, whether it's if you're an exchange operator, like my sponsors, like Tyler and Cameron have been criticized as speakers. I've been criticized as an MC. Like there's a certain list of people that people have been critical about. My view always on this stuff is because I get criticized having them as sponsors. Why are you having them as sponsors? They've got shitcoins. It's like walking that, like my show's Bitcoin only, right? But walking that purity line for sponsors is very hard. There's not enough out there, and if you're trying to run a business, it's hard. But I guess you face similar kind of dilemmas on this because you are a Bitcoin only magazine, you're a Bitcoin only event, but some of the interesting speakers have got shitcoins in their business.
Yeah, so we're Bitcoin only, not Bitcoin maximalist, and I'm not saying that that is the vibe of every person who works at this company. I'm saying that that's the intentional vibe of the products we build, how we differentiate. When you're dealing with something that's at scale, and you're not just going off of subjective opinions, you got to have kind of a framework for determining what's on topic, what's off topic, what's a Bitcoin company, what's not a Bitcoin company, what's Bitcoin relevant, what isn't. So should wrapped Bitcoin be at the conference? I think yes. Should, an ERC20 decentralized exchange that has wrapped Bitcoin trading pairs be at the conference? I think no. And so, we look at it like if you interact with the Bitcoin mainnet, if you interact with the Bitcoin protocol, we don't care what you're doing. We don't care how you're using it. Like you're a Bitcoin company, end of discussion. That's the line we draw. In terms of, who are we inviting to the conference and why? Our goal is not Bitcoin purity. Our goal is hyperbitcoinization. And we're trying to build a coalition, as George Bush would say, a coalition of the willing, that is as big and as broad as possible to accelerate hyperbitcoinization. That's it. And so, I'm not saying that there isn't a place for total Bitcoin purity and maximalism. I think it does a great job of keeping people honest, and it's needed. But, you can't just burn bridges. Someone has to build the bridges you burn first. So, we're trying to build bridges with people who can, align with this coalition to accelerate what's going on. And I look at every shitcoiner as an opportunity to realign them with Bitcoin, bring them back to Bitcoin, and improve and grow the Bitcoin community. So, let's talk about the speakers that have gotten some controversy. So, and I responded actually, and somebody came into our Telegram group last night, like blah 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 blah, and I kind of went off on them. Yeah. So let's see, off the top of my head, the ones that have been mentioned are. First on Mike Novogratz. All right. Mike Novogratz launched, I think, the first Bitcoin ETF in the world out of Canada. And he's running a big percentage of the institutional Bitcoin scene and the OTC desk and the structured loan products and the options markets products. His prop desk is big. And the Bitcoin mining work that he does. If you think he's not relevant to Bitcoin, you just are frankly not moving enough money around to just know the role that he's playing in the ecosystem. So
hold on, didn't he just buy BitGo as well?
He did. Yeah. Exactly.
1.2 billion acquisition.
Yeah. So we're super pumped to have Mike Novogratz there. And every single speaker we brought on, we are crystal clear with them. They are here to talk about Bitcoin only. In fact, they are not invited if they cannot play by those rules. So if you see them on our agenda, that means that they've agreed. They're there to talk about Bitcoin, and that's it. So that's
well, dude. Listen, I was just going to say that's like with my sponsors. Like everyone that signs up they get told, I will only ever talk about your Bitcoin products. So when I talk about Gemini, it's like you can buy and sell Bitcoin there. If I talk about Exodus Wallet, it's how I'm using it for Bitcoin. That's the same. That operating outside of that's very hard. I think I'm aligned with you and your strategy for dealing with this.
Yeah. So then the next one is the Winklevoss twins. And I will say they have gone much more ETH heavy since we originally confirmed them for Bitcoin 2020. which makes my life a little bit more complicated. But, they are old school, hardcore Bitcoiners. They venture funded. They did the first venture investment into a Bitcoin company, as far as we know, in the world, which was BitInstant. They run one of the biggest Bitcoin exchanges. They have done many venture investments into Bitcoin companies. I mean, it's very difficult to make the case they're not Bitcoiners.
Dude, they went balls deep into Bitcoin when a lot of people didn't give a shit. And they pumped a lot of money in. They took a massive risk.
Absolutely. Then you have Charlie Shrem, which was the CEO of the company that the Winklevoss invested into. Let's just say that didn't turn out fantastically. Charlie went to jail, for those of you that don't know, for I think 2 years or a year and a half.
He did.
For breaking something called the Bank Secrecy Act, which honestly, I feel like it's immoral that that's even the name of a bill. He's been a freedom fighter from Bitcoin from the beginning, hardcore Bitcoiner. After getting out of jail, immediately returns to promoting Bitcoin. And in 2013, one of the first Bitcoin conferences I went to, August 2013, Jeffrey Tucker did a conference in Atlanta, and Charlie Shrem opens up the conference by telling all the bankers in the room, getting them all to identify themselves, fuck the banks. That's how he started out. So, Charlie gets it. He's a good guy, loves Bitcoin, and we have him moderating a panel, moderating a discussion. So, and then Charlie. The other one that we got hit hard on is Ghazi from Empire Records. Ghazi is a new to Bitcoin, new to crypto entrepreneur. He's the CEO of one of the largest recording distribution labels in the world. And he's on our panel, Pay Me in Bitcoin, where he's talking about paying some of the most well-known rappers in the world their royalties directly in BTC. I mean, if that's not relevant to Bitcoin, fuck you. I mean, it is. So we're honored to have him involved in the event. Now, he's new to the scene. He's making some cringe mistakes. But, crypto, Bitcoin, it's a journey for people. And any of these people, any of these taco plebs that want to say oh, wow, how dare you speak about anything else? It's why? Because they didn't read the same tweets you read on Twitter. It's not like these taco plebs, they wrote the book on the intellectual background of Bitcoin maximalism. No, they're just regurgitating what they read elsewhere. And it's I'm sorry, that doesn't make you some genius and everyone else who didn't read the same tweets as you or spends as much time on crypto Twitter as you, evil. It just means that they're on a different part of their journey. So, we're excited to have Ghazi involved. He's speaking on that panel with Money Man, pretty cool rapper who's going to be performing. And I think they might even have some news they're going to be breaking. So, we want to get this Pay Me in Bitcoin kind of cultural moment going, and I think that he's going to be a big part of it. So that's 4 of the people that people want to have canceled. I'm not canceling any of them. And, frankly, I think that this crowd who wants to be upset are really just upset that, the conference is big, or they're upset that, they don't have a ticket and they can't afford to go. I don't know what it is, but I mean, every single person participating is participating purely to talk about Bitcoin.
Hell yeah. Dude, look, I get it. The purity line is a very, very difficult line to walk. And I'm with you. As long as these people are supporting and promoting Bitcoin, then they're helping us all on the same journey. And look, I shitcoined at one point. I got wrecked. I went through it. It's an important part of the journey. It's it's an important learning exercise. It's important. I find I don't know how many people are there who literally turned up, discovered Bitcoin, and went, that's it. I think someone like Russell Kung seems to be one of the few who turned up and is yeah, Bitcoin, I get it.
Getting wrecked is one of the most important stepping stones to becoming a Bitcoin maximalist. A real Bitcoin maximalist. That's the pain that you need to suffer to understand. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with people getting wrecked once or twice. We got, 121 millionth of all the things is a really high price. All right. So, if you lose some of your Bitcoin, but you end up with just, a fraction of what you could have had, you're going to be just fine as long as you eventually figure it out. You know, the kind of the thing that I'm more concerned with is, you know, making sure that, you know, we have an event that really does put Bitcoin forward. And so there's some stuff that we've done that we don't put in the news. Like, for example, we had the CEO of one of the largest investment banks in the world want to speak at the conference. He didn't have anything to announce. He just wanted to be a thought leader, put his personal brand out there, and we told him no. You know, like, you can't. Like, Satoshi would roll over in his grave, or their grave, or if hopefully Satoshi's not dead, but you know, if they are, they'd roll over. You know, like, unless you're here to do something for Bitcoin, this is not the place for you. So, you know, likewise, we've probably turned away $10 million plus in sponsorships, which, you know, I don't think has ever happened at a conference before. These people are like, how dare you not take my sponsorship? And it's like, you don't have a Bitcoin product. Like, go back to the drawing plans, come up with a Bitcoin product, come back, you can sponsor next year. But like,
so we're not going to have Justin Sun on the elevators.
So I like Justin. He's a nice guy. Justin, he made a very good pitch to us that he is a hardcore Bitcoiner. But yeah.
But he's also a hardcore shitcoiner as well.
Oh yeah.
He's both.
No, I know. And you know, we had to set another rule because, I mean, dude, we've had the most creative pitches to us about why something is a Bitcoin product or why something is Bitcoin relevant. I mean, dude, we have people who are like rebranding their sites to try to trick us into allowing them to participate in the conference. If you are actively promoting a top 100 project that is trying to compete with Bitcoin, and when I say promoting, I don't mean promoting. If you're running a top 100 project that is actively trying to compete with Bitcoin, you cannot participate as a speaker at the conference. You can attend, but even if you have a Bitcoin product, you can't speak.
$10 million is a lot of money to turn down, dude. I hope you've sold out all the sponsorship anyway outside of them. I expect you're going to do very well.
You know, I've never really had the experience of, I mean, you're always trying to accommodate a sponsor. And so, like, when you tell a sponsor no, it's like they wanted so much more after that. And so it's like we got people that are like, you know, no, you can't do that. And they just double what they're willing to pay us. And like, no, you can't do that. I mean, so it's kind of fun to, you know, to do it. And I think it's what's making this event like special and making this event not just another consensus. And I think, you know, again, this event's not about making money. This event is not about, you know, trying to have the biggest conference in the world. This event's about hyper-Bitcoinization and showcasing the Bitcoin counterculture. And that's what we're trying to do. And the day that that's not the mission is the day this conference is going to die.
How many tickets are left?
So I think we have roughly 2,000 tickets left of the 12,000 that we're going to sell. We have about 100 whale passes left out of 1,800. And we have about 200 after-party tickets left out of 4,500. And every day has been a battle to try to increase capacity. Like, every day it's you know, hey, can we pull a yacht up to this venue so that we can get another 30 bodies on the yacht? Or can we, you know, buy out this restaurant and this restaurant and this restaurant, and then we can put, you know, this side thing over there, and that will pull 100 people out of the event. Like, we're doing everything we can to increase capacity, but you know, it's just you know, Miami only has probably one other place in the city that could accommodate this size crowd.
So, come June 7th, the whole thing's done. Like, what is success to you?
Success to me, like, I'll tell you what success was from Bitcoin 2019. People leaving and being like, wow, I made a lot of new friends. And, you know, I saw a lot of new cool ideas. You know, one of my favorite success stories from Bitcoin 2019 is Zebedee, the Lightning-based gaming company that kind of emerged out of the hackathon at Bitcoin 2019, where Mandela Duck, I think is his Twitter handle, built some really cool Lightning games that won like the hackathon. And who became the ultimate founders of that company, I think, met through the conference and then founded this company that's become super successful, has an amazing product. And like, that's awesome. That's the whole fucking point of this thing. Another one, I was talking to Keegan from Start 9, and he said after attending that conference, he learned basically how approachable Bitcoin core development was, and got involved in Bitcoin core development. And it's like, okay, like that's what we're trying to achieve. So I hope to do that on steroids 10x. And then, I'm hoping to occupy the mind space of people coming to try to figure out what Bitcoin's all about, and they can't forget what they saw at this conference. I mean, it's, we got sumo wrestlers walking around. We have, UFC world champions that are going to be walking around holding up their belts. We got Tony Hawk on a half pipe. We got, Lightning-based arcade e-gaming tournament and lounge. We got, everything's Lightning enabled at the conference. We have a basketball tournament going on. We got, we're trying to figure out if we can throw money out of a helicopter right now in the city proper. We have, one of the issues we were trying to deal with yesterday is how much cash do you need, physical cash, to fill up a dumpster? Because we have like this selfie booth that's the cash is trash selfie dumpster, and we're gonna stuff it full of Venezuelan fiat, and people can just help themselves to whatever they want out of it. Well, it turns out you need a lot of cash to fill a dumpster. So we've been pulling out our high school algebra books to figure out exactly how many pallets of cash we need to make that happen. So, I mean, we are trying to create a spectacle that is wild and fun and cool and showcases Bitcoin and is just completely unabashed about what Bitcoin is all about, freedom. And then we have some surprises in this conference that I cannot talk about on any podcast in advance. The Department of Justice will try to stop it, but we have some special guests that are going to be participating or joining us that I think will melt people's faces off. I mean, we're talking about never been done, never been seen before, never been heard from before guests. So I'm so excited to show people what we've been cooking up in the culmination of really 2 years of work.
Fuck, man, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped.
One of our guys told me yesterday, he's like, June 7th comes and my life, this conference is over and my life doesn't have meaning anymore. That's where my team, that's where my team is at right now. Like this is like, they are 100% all fucking in on making the best party in the world. And I even want to take it one step back real quick and say, of course, it's the Bitcoin community that's treading the fucking path to open the world back up from a totalitarian bullshit pandemic lockdown. And it took the Bitcoin community, who does not give any fucks, showing up in mass. And we're literally leading the way. And we're hearing from event organizers all over the country. I heard one of the biggest events in the world is watching our conference right now. And they're like, wow, these guys took a different angle. Rather than pretending to care about the health of their attendees, which, newsflash, no conference actually cares about the health of their attendees. They just say that shit. Instead of bullshitting their attendees, we took the angle of, look, if you're afraid of dying, don't come to this conference. Like, if you're high risk, don't come to this conference. And you know what? The Bitcoin community, again, it's a revolution. So they're going to come no matter what. I mean, there are people that were mad at us when we canceled in March because they're like, I already picked out my hazmat suit. So, we are treading we're treading the path of freedom for the world. The Bitcoin community is the frontier of freedom.
I've had to come out here to El Salvador for 2 weeks so I can come to the US, right? Because they won't allow me to fly direct to the US. I put my application in via the Biden administration. They turned it down. So I have to come out here to El Salvador. Well, I had to go somewhere that wasn't on the red list for 2 weeks to get in.
Are you at the beach, the surfing beach?
Yeah, I'm in El Zonte. with Michael and Jack and just chilling,
Dope.
just having a couple of weeks off. Yeah, it's cool, but like like it's not convenient. I'd rather just fly direct to Miami, but I'm not allowed. Even though there's planes going, I'm not allowed. Even though I'm vaccinated, I'm not allowed. Even though I do a PCR test, I'm not allowed. So I have to go somewhere else. But I had to go I had to fly to Germany to get to Costa Rica to get here. So I've actually, by the time I get to Miami, I'll have done 5 flights, right? Normally it's 1.
Wow.
I'll have to do 5 flights. But on my flight from Germany, there was a dude in a hazmat suit with a mask and a visor.
Just
He's
trolling
on my
people?
plane. No, definitely not trolling. I was like, what the like?
You know, dude, what's going to really red pill a lot of people, orange pill people, is when they land in Miami and they realize that Miami's 100% open for business. People are not wearing masks. You can do what you want. You can go party what you want. It is like party capital right now. And they're going to be like, wait, huh? Like I'm being told in the UK that if I go outside and exercise for more than a couple hours, I'm going to kill someone. And then I just hop a plane and go across the ocean. And all of a sudden it's like free reign. So, you know, and if you look at the hospitals in Miami, it's not like people are dropping dead everywhere. I mean, it's if anything, receding by the day. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit shocking to a lot of the international travelers.
Dude, it's ridiculous in the UK right now. Like genuine, like I'm looking at options to move to Austin to get away. It's ridiculous. I think we need to have like we're the kind of place where you have to have a permit to have sex. It's so fucked, man.
One of my very close friends, longtime Bitcoiner, Alex Lon, I'll say his name, lives in London, and he's he's been kind of walking me through some of the restrictions that are there right now. And there was a moment where it was like, hey, I can't get out of the country right now. Like, I'm not like, there's nowhere I can go. I can't fly anywhere. I can't get on a boat. I can't and I'm being told I can't even leave my house except for like 45-minute increments or something. And it's like, that's literally like prison. I mean, that's literally like you have no options. You can't exit. We've changed the rules to stop you from exiting the system. It's like, holy shit, that is literally totalitarian, authoritarian government action. And they flipped it on like a flip of the switch. I mean, and didn't y'all just pass a law to make like protesting this type of stuff also illegal temporarily?
I think we've made a law that everything is illegal. Like everything you want to do is illegal. There's a law for that. Like we can't do fuck all. I'll tell you the funny thing though. It's like by the time I actually planned, the planning to get here was incredible. Like incredible. And luckily I had somebody helping me with it. But like, for example, I have to have a PCR test done, but I had to have it done within 72 hours of getting to El Salvador, but I had to do 2 flights to Costa Rica, stay over and get there. So I had to get the test, same day test, the day before I flew. And I also had to have a work reason to travel, and I had to have that all prepared. I get to the airport and the ladies, and I'm like fully expecting some like full on checks. She said, do you have your PCR test? I showed her it and she said, yep, okay. Like literally looked and nodded. So I could have made that on my computer. I could literally have gone on my computer and made that fucking thing. She didn't look at my reason for leaving, which they said I need. And then she said, did you have insurance? And I did. So our laws are totalitarian. They're not implementing them particularly well. But yeah, look, the whole thing's ridiculous. The country's gone to it's just shit, man. There's
a great quote. I forget. I think it's a Roman person who said it. The corruption of a state is directly proportionate to the number of laws that a country has. The more laws, the more corrupt. And, I mean, it's like if only the English had figured out that if they wanted to end the American Revolution, all they needed to do was pass a law saying that, American Revolution's banned. Boom. Would have been over. I just don't get it, man.
Yeah.
There's no better marketing campaign that you can possibly give for Bitcoin than all of the things that the government is currently doing to try to maintain power. They are accelerating everything so quickly. It's like really, maybe we should have them speak at the conference. They're really the hyper-Bitcoinization thought leaders.
I mean, just on the Bitcoin side of things, the UK is a shit show as well. Derivatives have been banned. Most of the banks are making it very difficult for you to move money in and out of exchanges. People having their accounts shut down left, right, and center. I had all my accounts shut down. I had my accounts shut down. People think it's because I lied about a loan. I had my accounts shut down because when they phone me up and are asking me what I'm spending my money on, I say it's none of your business. It's my money. I'll spend it where I want. So they shut all my accounts down. And I'm getting so many people, like so many DMs and emails from people saying, like, which bank can I use? Because I've been closed down. I got one today. Santander closed their bank down. NatWest has closed their bank down. Lloyds have closed their bank down. They're pushing it away. But like you say, they're actually pushing. Like it reaffirms your Bitcoin beliefs. It's like, oh, fuck you. It's my money. I fucking earned it. I don't have to fucking tell you what I'm spending it on. And then fuck you, I got Bitcoin anyway.
Can you give a little bit of color to why people think you're lying on a loan? Like, is that like Twitter thinks that?
No, I did lie on a loan. So, but they think that's the reason I had my account closed. So I'd already gone 100% Bitcoin. It was when the price dipped to 17,500, and I was just laying in bed and I opened up my laptop. I was like, holy shit, I want to buy the dip, but I don't have any money left. Like I've literally put everything in. So I was like, I wonder how much money the bank will give me. And they immediately, like in seconds, they'll give me £35,000, right? I was like, that's cool. I can buy 2.55 Bitcoin, right? So they were like, what's the reason for the loan? I was like, a car. and I posted like my strategy, what I'd done with the loan. And somebody just asked me, they said, oh, what did you tell them the loan was for? And I said, I can't, I lied, right? 3 weeks later, I have my accounts closed down by Lloyds. But that process had already started because they'd phoned me up to ask me what I was spending money on. And I just said, it's none of your business. But like either way, I don't give a fuck. Like I've never been overdrawn.
You have a whole army of people online that are like, fact checking your financial documents. That's got to be a joy.
Well, this is the thing. I don't give a fuck about that. Like most of the time, I'm trolling them myself. But the really interesting thing is that people are going, "You've committed fraud. You've lied to the banks." It's like, when did you give a fuck about the banks? Like, when did you suddenly start defending the banks? Why are you following me, and why are you even in Bitcoin? Like, what the fuck? If you're now defending the banks because I lied to them, let me tell you something. I've lied every fucking time the bank have asked me a question. I had to go in once. I had to get some money out to pay a decorator. It was like £2,000. I can't remember the number. And they're like, "Oh, what's the money for?" And I was like, "Cocaine and hookers." And she's like, "What?" I said, "Yes, cocaine and hookers." Like every fucking time they ask me a question, I lie. Fuck them. It's none of your business. It's my money. I earned it. I've never been overdrawn. I've never filed a complaint. I've never missed a loan payment if I had a loan. Every account's in credit. I'm like, in some way, I'd say some ways I'm the perfect customer. Actually, I'm probably the worst customer because I'm not going overdrawn and I'm not, getting penalties. But like, I've done nothing wrong here. And now you're closing my account after 25 years because I won't tell you what. Go fuck yourself. So anyone online who's like pissed at me for lying to the bank, go fuck yourself. Honestly.
Well, you've worked
give
hard.
Zero shits about your opinion. Huh?
You've worked hard. It should be your money. And what people are realizing is that it's actually not your money. It's the bank's money.
It's an IOU.
And they're letting you hold on to it for a little bit. But like, as soon as you upset them, they're taking it back. Bitcoin is your money. That's the people's money.
Well, this is why the CBDC thing's important, because the fucking economists are... Listen, if you're listening, I get about 3 emails a month from people complaining about the swearing. I'm really sorry, but I'm a bit fired up and pissed off. So, but the economists have just run a thing about CBDCs. And it's bad enough with the banks having our money. CBDCs end everything. Like they're a surveillance and totalitarian nightmare. You can literally have your money switched off by the government. Like, what?
All these people that are like, hey, are those going to be competitors to Bitcoin? It's like they don't understand. It's not the technology that people are buying. Like the bug is the political system itself. That's the bug. And digital currencies issued by a central bank just are worse. They make that bug and they take it to the next level. So I mean, it's
Dude, CBDCs are Bitcoin antimatter.
Bitcoin
That's what they are.
antimatter.
They're
What does
Bitcoin
antimatter do?
antimatter. Yeah, like it self-destructs itself.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, yes. I'm the only type of stable coins that I think have any viability are the ones that allow you to avoid paying any taxes that you owe the government, so that you can float between different Bitcoin services without alerting the government. That's the only use case for any of these stable coins or central bank issued stable coins, is to allow you to flout regulations. Yeah, man.
Let me ask you something. Have you? How close are you to becoming a Bitcoin-only company in terms of your finances? Because it's something I've been wrestling with recently, and I've struggled with it's all right in a bull market, but I was struggling in a bear market. If there was even a 60% drawdown, it has a massive impact. Like, how close are you to considering that?
We're almost all the way there. So I mean, we got 90% plus of all of our assets are sitting in Bitcoin. We pay all the bonuses every quarter in Bitcoin. One of our quarterly goals this year, or for this quarter, I'm sorry, is to have every person at the company take at least some percentage of their salary directly in Bitcoin. In terms of the revenue we bring in, I would say right now, roughly half of all the income we bring in is in Bitcoin natively. And then the other half, we try to flip it into Bitcoin. Philosophically, when we almost died in this last bear bull market, we kind of made the view that we never want to make decisions again in pursuit of investors or in pursuit of doing something for someone else to get them to sustain our business. And so our focus is very much on cash flow positivity. And so cash flow positivity, that sounds like a very happy thing. So our company's profitable right now, and we're never going to get back to a scenario where we're burning money. And as long as you're profitable, who cares if it's bull market or bear market? You're going to be able to survive. And so, the name of the game is get as many Bitcoins as you possibly can. Live within your means. So we're a pretty small team. I mean, we're right now about 25 full-time employees and another 20 contractors, so about 45 people. We need more people, but we don't want to grow our burn, because you're king of your own castle, you're master of your own destiny, as long as you're profitable.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm definitely looking at it. It depends how this bull market goes. Because I've moved so much of the company money into Bitcoin. If the bull market really accelerates another 2-3x, then I've bought myself 4 years cash flow anyway.
No, I will say that one thing I really think is missing from the ecosystem, and if I was a strapping young lad and not already focused on putting together the best Bitcoin party ever, I'd be launching a Bitcoin, an enterprise product for companies that want to run and operate in Bitcoin native terms. And so there's I feel like BitPay started that with creating, good payment tools for companies, but they stopped there, and they should have kept going. How do I set it up so that I can do my budgeting with Bitcoin? I can deploy resources to different teams with Bitcoin. I can very easily, figure out all my payroll options through all the same, application. How can I do a 401k equivalent, or some sort of a benefits package with Bitcoin? How can I, X, Y, and Z? And so I really think there's a lot of unexplored territory. If I'm an entrepreneur and I want to spin up a business, why is there not just an application that I can use that operates 100% in Bitcoin and lets me do everything my business needs to do financially?
Yeah, someone's going to listen to this and go, I'm going to go and build that.
If you do, DM Bitcoin Magazine's Twitter handle, let us know, and we'll use it.
Yeah, you guys have been crushing it though. The content you produce is excellent. I also big shout out to CK. He's such a great dude, man. Yeah, such a great guy. Like,
As soon as we started saying like it's about the mission, and I mean, I'm not going to talk poorly about anyone, but like, for a while we were trying to go hire veterans from the media industry and people who are like know what they're doing, yada yada. It's like we didn't need people who knew what they were doing. We need people that were passionate about the mission and will do whatever it takes to figure it out. And CK is one of those people. And he's been hammering for years, and finally the message was received like we need to only hire Bitcoiners. And right now what's happening at our company, man, it's really something special. It's like when you feel like everything's hitting, the mojo's jiving with everyone, everyone's working hard, busting ass, like business is booming. Like that's happening right now. And like we got people coming into our office saying, hey, why don't y'all raise money? Hey, just throw out a valuation. And it's like, fuck you. No, like we don't want your money. And it's like the energy level in this office is just crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think you're crushing it, dude. I mean,
thank you.
The magazine's great. Well, you said earlier, people are like, oh, life will be over June 7th. June the 8th, you start planning Bitcoin 2022,
Exactly.
An event that's going to be like 50,000 or 100,000. It's going to be a fucking rock concert in the desert or some crazy shit.
I mean, we have all of these musicians that want to be a part of the conference right now. Diplo and David Guetta and DJ Khaled, and I mean, you name the like kind of culturally relevant artists they want to be a part of. It's like, shit, we should add a 2-day music festival onto this thing. Like, it's
Bitcoin's becoming cool, right? That's the other thing. It's becoming cool. People want to be associated with it. Like I'm like hanging out with Jack over here, and look at all the sports people that he's got interested. Like literally hitting him up on Twitter.
So I'm not saying that this is happening. I said I didn't want to leak details. I'm not saying that this is happening, and it's definitely not confirmed. But we are really, really trying to convince Mayweather right now to hop on stage and demand that all his winnings from Fight Night are paid in Bitcoin. And I feel like we are this close.
I mean, like, the guy's already a billionaire, right? Like, I met him once.
Did you see the video from yesterday of Logan Paul stealing his hat?
I literally want to reach across and steal your hat.
That is and I'm sorry for everyone if you're watching this or you're going to be watching this for such a bearish hat. I'm getting a new one made right now, which is like 1/21 millionth over like infinity. So I'll get a more appropriate hat. But yeah, no, Logan Paul stealing Floyd Mayweather's hat, I feel like is just peak YouTube, peak TikTok, like just like I got your hat, and how upset Floyd Mayweather was, like you disrespect me, I'll kill you.
I saw another video where he lands a good punch on him.
Yeah, no, that was a real fight that broke out. Yeah,
people are like, oh, it was staged. I'm like, they probably agreed to stage some kind of like confrontation, but I don't think he planned to go and punch him in the face.
No, I mean, he looked messed up. Like they were like trying to like shield his face a little bit, like from the cameras, because it looked like he might be spitting out a tooth or something.
Well, I think. Can
you imagine getting punched in the face by Floyd Mayweather, bare knuckled? That's not a good way to start your day.
He wouldn't catch me. I'd duck him. Oh man, are you going to the fight?
Sunday, right? I'm planning on going to the fight. And we're going to be auctioning off at the conference 2 ringside tickets. And we're going to be offering all of our whale pass holders. We're partnering with the organizer of the fight and going to be kind of offering some exclusive seats at the ring for Bitcoiners only. So we got a call from the organizer. They're like, yeah, I got to tell you, you've really screwed us because all the hotels, all the nightclubs, all the VIP experiences, they're all bought out by Bitcoiners. We've been making phone calls. They're all like, yeah, sorry, the Bitcoin whales have already come and eaten everything we got. So I'll be there.
It feels like the event, therefore, isn't like an accelerant for Bitcoin because you can have the world looking in, going, what's all this shit going on here? Who are these people? They're a tribe. I mean, they're an army now.
Dude, he who controls the money controls the world. And like Bitcoin is the money now. And like Bitcoiners control the world. And like the rest of the world is waking up to this fact. But like this is the new Davos. This is the new World Economic Forum, and it's, you know, like fuck the old world. And you know, I mean, it's just like we have a jet company. They're flying in Gulf Streams from cities around the country for the whales flying in. I mean, it's sick. It's sick. And I mean, how FTX, SBF, how cool is he? Just like, oh wow, Miami, that's popping off. Let's kick American Airlines off that building and put our logo up there. It's like baller, baller. So,
you saying I could go Gulfstream in on my expense account with you guys?
if you're in SF, LA, Chicago, New York, and we're trying to get Nashville added to the list, I think you will be able to. Yes.
No, I already booked my flight. I'm coming in from Austin, Texas, on American Airlines.
Dude, Austin, you spent much time there?
A lot of time there, yeah.
You think we should do a conference there?
I think yes. I think they will love you there. I think Austin is an incredible place, full of incredible people, really good Bitcoiners. I started going there like every 2 months pre-lockdown, and I'm thinking of getting a studio there. I've been talking to my engineer about saying, look, we need to level up and have a studio and do in-person interviews. I've been thinking of getting one in Austin, fly out for 2 weeks, do 4 weeks of interviews, fly back. Like, been thinking of doing that like that. I would move there tomorrow, but it's tricky with kids when you're divorced. But I fucking love that place. I love Texas. The people there have always been really good to me whenever I've gone. I think you should. I think you should do a conference in the UK.
Well, we would have to find a good partner. So maybe we can have that conversation. But
we can have that conversation. We should do it in Bedford.
Bedford, I'm down. Let's do it. Let's bring Bitcoin to Bedford.
I've always wanted to do the Bedford Bitcoin conference.
Well, there's no better time than today. You know, so on Austin, Pete Rizzo is pitching us on between this conference and Bitcoin 2022, doing an event we're calling FOMOCon, and we're trying to think what city we want to do FOMOCon in. So it's between Austin or Nashville, really. So
I've always wanted to go to Nashville, dude. I've never been. Are you? When are you heading to Miami?
We're heading. I think most of our team is going to get in on like June 1st, and there's stuff happening all week. I mean, there's literally, I think we have like maybe 20 satellite events listed on our site, but there's like 100 happening, and there's a lot of other projects that are a little bit, upset that we wouldn't let them participate in the conference, and so they're kind of doing their own side events. I think there's like an event called Shitcoin 2021 happening. There's like a Monero event happening. Funny. There's an Ethereum conference happening. There's, yeah. So
Joe, I might change my flight. I might come to Nashville for a couple of days before. How far is Nashville from Miami?
2-hour flight.
Yeah, I might change my flight. I might go to Nashville for a couple of days.
Come on, man. It's fun. Yeah. And it's open, and you can. People are out on the streets partying, and you'll have a good time.
Safe in the South.
Safe in the South. That's right.
Safe in the South. Well, listen, dude, I am very excited about this event, and thank you so much for allowing me to be part of it again. I'm so fucking pumped. I can't wait. I think you've got a great set of speakers. All the shit that you said you're doing on top is going to be incredible. I've had like endless invites to dinners and parties every night. Dude, it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. I think you're crushing it, and I really appreciate you, dude, and everything you've done and doing for Bitcoin. I have a conversation like this, and it makes me think I need to be a better Bitcoiner. Like, I need to focus more. So I appreciate you, dude.
Well, thank you for having me on. We look forward to seeing everyone in Miami, and an idea whose time has come cannot be stopped. And like, let's take it to the fucking front lines. Let's push forward freedom, and the eyes of the world will be watching the Bitcoin scene. Make sure they understand how much fun we have. See you in Miami.
Awesome, man. See you in Miami.